Hi, it's Friday, 3rd of October 2025, and welcome to this week's My Thoughts vlog. Well, obviously one thing is going to dominate today's video, and it's a Labour Party conference. We had an event, or we as in Lab Rats had an event where we were basically talking about the promises that were made by Labour to us over the years, and sort of where we are, or where they are, in meeting their promises. It was interesting. It really was interesting. It was myself, Alan Owen, Susie Boniface, and Andy Burnham, which is always good to get somebody with a high-profile name because it kind of drags people in. It was a good event. It really was. We all got to say our piece. When you look at it in how it was set out and what was said, we've been made a lot of promises. And a lot of promises have actually not been met and not followed through. For example, I'm still waiting for medical records from my dad, and so is Alan. And I've been asking for 3 years, including asking face-to-face the Defence Secretary, asking face-to-face the Veterans Minister, and still I am no further on now than I was 3 years ago. I still don't have those records. I still don't know when I'm getting them, or even if I'm getting them, because of the roadblocks that put in the way. So in that respect, yeah, the promises have not been kept. However, we had some good news from it. We met the Deputy Prime Minister, David Lammy. That was arranged kind of a last-minute thing, and that was good. We had a small meeting with him, and he sat and listened to us, and he did. He really, really listened, and he got it. He understood, and that's kind of what we wanted to get across, because once you talk to people within the campaign, such as myself and Alan, and then Susie, and you know the story, then you can't fail to be moved to act on it, because it's too unbelievable, it's too scandalous, it's too wrong to want to just say, that's interesting, and do nothing. So yeah, I'm hoping Mr. Lammy is going to go away and do something, or at least lend a lot of support. And then the other good thing that happened was on BBC Breakfast, John Kay, the chap who interviewed us alongside Sally Nugent on BBC Breakfast the week before, interviewed the Prime Minister, and he actually asked him a question about meeting us. Are you going to meet them, and when you're going to meet them? And the Prime Minister said, yes, he will meet us, hopefully by the end of the year. I'd like to think so too, by the end of the year, because let's face it, he's the Prime Minister, and if he wants to meet us tomorrow, he could. He's the one that makes the decisions, isn't he? So yeah, I think it's well within his scope to meet us before the end of the year. So that's a massive win. It's not the end of the road, but it's a massive win. It's something we've been asking for a lot, and it looks like it's going to happen. So yes, really, really pleased. Really pleased. An interesting side note came off the Fringe event that we had, and it was about accessibility, because there was a small stage, and myself, Andy Burnham, Alan and Susie made up the panel, and the stage was probably about 2 foot off the ground, but there was no ramp, so I couldn't get on it. So we had 3 people on the stage, and me just off to the side. And yes, there should have been accessibility onto the stage, not just for me, but for anybody, and that should just be, not just if there's a disabled speaker going to be there, there should just be access as a given at any time. But there wasn't. And a lot of people were on Twitter blaming, oh, this is typical of the Labour Party, blah, blah, they hate disabled people. Is it their fault? I'm not sure it is. The venue's fault, isn't it? They're the one that lays it out. I mean, Keir and the Cabinet don't exactly come around making stages, do they, the day before? So yeah, I think it's more of a venue issue, but I don't kind of feel that, yes, the optics didn't look great and it made a point, but I still got my voice heard. I got my message across loud and clear, because to be fair, and it's not right, but it is, things like that are something that you get so used to. At the time, I didn't really give it much thought. I just thought, I can't get on the stage, I'll park here and say my piece. So, yeah, it wasn't great looking back, but at the time it didn't make really much of a difference to me. But yes, access is not great at these kind of things, and like I say, it shouldn't be just, there's a disabled chap, we better put a ramp there. This should be, here's an event, it needs ramps, it needs accessibility. It needs accessibility for everybody, because they don't know who's attending, and I shouldn't have to phone up in advance and say, oh, by the way, I'm in a wheelchair. It should just be given that it is possible a speaker may be in a wheelchair, and those, facilities are made good. But as a disabled person and a wheelchair user, as I say, you get to expect this kind of thing, and you just learn to live with it, and you get on with it, because this world is not made for disabled people. It is made for the majority who aren't disabled, and that's just the way it is. It's getting a lot better, but we're not there yet. And if anything, it makes you very adaptable. But yeah, it didn't spoil anything at all for me. I got my message across, and that was the important thing, to have that message loud and clear, which I think I did. So yeah, the Labour Party conference for me was really, really good. My little boy was really well behaved, really super proud of him. He went on a big wheel, which made his day. That was brilliant. Quite pricey though, that wheel. Bed was a bit uncomfortable, but other than that, absolutely fantastic. So, it's been a good conference. We got the meeting with Keir, and that is the headline that we should all run with. Anyway, I think that's enough for me for one day. Next week, I'm going to do a Q&A special, because I've been asked some questions. I still want more, so if you've got any questions, just send them my way, comment on this or whatever, and I will answer them. So yeah, Q&A special next week, and yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I will see you next week. Bye.